Ever find yourself wrestling with a banking app that feels like it was designed by, well, someone who's never actually used a bank?
You mean the ones that make you jump through hoops just to check your balance? Yeah, those are frustrating.
It's like they think banking should be a chore. But hold on to your hats, folks, because today we're diving into the fascinating world of design thinking and how it's poised to completely transform the financial industry.
We're not just talking about slapping a fresh coat of paint on things. This is about a fundamental shift in how banks think and operate.
A total makeover for the financial world. We'll be drawing insights from a report on design maturity in banking, put out by UXDA, a financial UX design agency.
And they make a compelling case that when design is done right, it can be a game changer, impacting everything from customer satisfaction to a bank's bottom line.
They've got the data to back it up too. Get this. Companies with a high level of design maturity see 5 times the impact, 5 times, on revenue, cost savings, and even how quickly they can launch new products.
5 times. That's huge.
It is. And it gets even better. These design-forward companies, they have a whopping 26 times greater impact on their company's overall valuation.
Now you're talking. That's a language investors understand.
Absolutely. But what does this actually look like in the real world? How does a company go from design zero to design hero?
Well, the UXDA report talks about 2 kinds of companies: sprinters and marathon runners.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Think of sprinters as those companies that kind of dabble in design, looking for a quick win. Maybe they do a flashy website redesign or roll out a new app feature.
But it's all surface level.
Exactly. They might see a temporary boost, but it's not sustainable.
Because they haven't really changed their DNA.
Exactly. Now, the real winners, the marathon runners, they're playing the long game. They weave design thinking into the very fabric of their company, making it an integral part of their strategy. It's not just a checkbox on a to-do list. It's in their DNA.
It's less of a makeover, more of a total transformation.
Exactly. And it's not just UXDA saying this. McKinsey, the global management consulting firm, has done a ton of research across 24 industries, and they found a direct link between mature design practices and significantly higher profits. It's a pattern you see over and over again.
So this isn't just about banking then, but that is our focus today.
Right.
Are most banks embracing this marathon runner approach? Are they truly prioritizing the customer experience?
Well, that's where things get interesting. McKinsey's research revealed a pretty surprising disconnect. Over 40% of the companies they studied, and remember this is across all sorts of sectors, weren't even talking to their end users during product development.
Wait, really? They're essentially designing in a vacuum. No input from the very people they're designing for.
Yeah, it seems crazy, right?
Especially in finance, where trust and ease of use are so important.
You would think, right?
Yeah.
And get this, more than half of the companies admitted to not having any real system in place for evaluating the results of their design changes. No clear goals for their design teams, no way to track if what they're doing is actually working.
So they're just kind of winging it, hoping to the best. That's a little worrying, to say the least. So how are the companies who are winning at design, those who are truly design mature, how are they doing things differently? What's their secret?
Well, McKinsey identified 4 key areas where those top-performing companies excel. First, they take design seriously, like really seriously. They treat it with the same rigor and data-driven approach as they do their finances.
So it's not just about gut feeling or what looks pretty on the surface.
Nope. It's about metrics, measuring results, and using that data to guide decisions. Second, they break down those barriers between different design disciplines. So you have your physical design, your digital design, your service design, all working in sync.
Creating that seamless experience for the customer.
Yeah.
It's an orchestra, right?
Yeah.
Each section with its own part to play, but they all come together to create this amazing experience.
Exactly. And the third key area, it's all about fostering a culture where everyone feels responsible for design. It's not just the creatives. You know?
It's everyone from the tellers to the tech team.
Exactly, because in reality, everyone in a company interacts with the customer in some way.
They all have a role to play in shaping that customer experience.
Absolutely. And finally, those design mature companies, they never stop learning. They're constantly testing and gathering feedback, tweaking and refining their designs based on what they learn.
That growth mindset in action, always striving to be better. So we've seen the big picture, but let's bring this back down to earth, back to the financial world. Do we have any concrete examples of this in banking?
Absolutely. McKinsey took a really close look at retail banking, and what they found was fascinating. Over a 5-year period, they saw a 27% difference in revenue growth between the banks that scored high on their McKinsey Design Index and those that scored low.
Okay, now that's impressive. Talk about a return on investment. Boost your bottom line by over a quarter simply by investing in how your customers experience your services. That's the power of design maturity.
Exactly. And it's not just about revenue either. The banks that scored high in design maturity, they also saw an 18% increase in shareholder returns compared to those lagging behind.
So it's a win-win for everyone. The bank makes more money, investors are happy, customers are happy. It's a no-brainer. But what happens if banks choose to ignore this whole design thing? What are the risks of staying stuck in that low design maturity zone?
Well, the UXDA report really lays out the consequences, and it's not a pretty picture. Remember that frustrating banking app we talked about earlier? The one that feels like it was designed in the dark ages?
Oh, I know exactly the one you mean.
Well, that's what's at stake here. You end up with a product that nobody wants to use while your competitors are offering these seamless, intuitive experiences.
And customers can tell the difference.
Oh, absolutely. They'll simply switch to a competitor who offers a better experience, and who can blame them. So you're not just looking at losing customers, you're looking at losing market share and ultimately losing revenue. It's a slippery slope.
It's like a domino effect. One thing leads to another, and before you know it, your entire business is suffering.
Yeah.
So how do banks turn this ship around? If they want to become more design mature, where do they even begin?
Well, the good news is that UXDA provides a really clear roadmap in their report. They outline 9 key steps to elevate design maturity, breaking it down into 3 main categories.
I got to tier them.
So first, you've got uniting the team. Then there's systematizing design. And finally, focusing on business growth. Those are the 3 pillars.
Right, so starting with uniting the team.
Yeah.
What does that actually look like in practice?
It starts with breaking down those silos we've been talking about. You need to create an environment where everyone feels comfortable sharing ideas and working together.
Collaboration is key.
Exactly. It's about fostering a collaborative environment where designers, developers, marketers, everyone involved in creating that customer experience are all on the same page working together towards a common goal.
So it's about more than just putting everyone in the same room together. It's about creating a shared understanding of the customer journey and how each team contributes to that.
Exactly. And it's also about getting buy-in from the top down. Design can't be treated like some kind of afterthought. It needs to be championed at all levels of the organization, from the CEO down to the newest hire.
So it becomes part of the company culture.
Exactly. When everyone understands the value of design and how it impacts the bottom line, it stops being seen as just an aesthetic thing, becomes a strategic imperative. Now, the second category, systematizing design. This is where things get really interesting. This is where you move away from making design decisions on the fly and start taking a more structured approach.
So let's make it look pretty and more, let's make it work and work beautifully by design.
You got it. This is about establishing robust design systems to ensure consistency across all your different channels, prioritizing the projects that will have the biggest impact, and making sure that all your design decisions are aligned with the company's overall goals.
So it's about playing the long game, like those design marathon runners we talked about.
Precisely. It's about embedding design into the very DNA of the company. And just like with any other business function, you need to measure the impact of your design decisions. Are they moving the needle on customer satisfaction? Are they driving business results? You need to track the data and use those insights to continuously improve.
So bringing that data-driven mindset to the world of design.
Absolutely. Data is crucial for making informed decisions and demonstrating the value of design to the C-suite. And this leads us perfectly into our third category, focusing design on business growth. This is where design goes from being purely aesthetic to being a powerful tool for innovation.
So less about aesthetics and more about using design to solve real problems and drive tangible results.
You got it. And it all starts with a deep understanding of your target market. You need to conduct thorough user research, analyze the competition, and really dig deep to uncover those unmet needs and pain points that your customers might not even be aware of.
So it's not enough to just ask customers what they want. You have to really understand the why behind their behavior.
Exactly. It's about empathy, putting yourself in your customer's shoes and understanding their perspective. And once you have that deep understanding, then you can start to design products and services that truly resonate with them on an emotional level.
I imagine this involves a lot of trial and error.
Absolutely. It's an iterative process.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to test your ideas early and often gather feedback and make adjustments along the way.
Embrace the fail-fast mentality.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to experiment, try new things, and learn from your mistakes. And just as important as it is to analyze the data and iterate based on feedback, it's also crucial to celebrate your successes. When design leads to measurable results, whether it's increased revenue, improved customer satisfaction, or boost in brand loyalty, make sure everyone knows about it.
Show them the design isn't just some fluffy extra. It's a key driver of business success.
Speaking of success, can you give us an example of a company that's really nailed this whole design-centric approach?
Well, it might seem a bit on the nose, but the UXDA report actually uses Apple as a prime example.
Apple, really? Yeah. They argue that Apple's laser focus on design, from their sleek products to their minimalist packaging to their meticulously designed retail experience, is a major factor in their incredible success. They went from being this niche computer company to a global tech giant.
And you can't argue with their results. People love Apple products. And it's not just about the technology, it's the entire experience. That feeling you get when you use an Apple product, that sense of simplicity and elegance.
Exactly. Apple has managed to create a brand that is synonymous with good design. And while they may be in a different industry, the principles they've applied are absolutely transferable to the world of finance.
So if a company like Apple, known for its cutting-edge technology and sleek aesthetics, can achieve such phenomenal success by prioritizing design.
Imagine the potential for banks and other financial institutions to do the same. They may not be designing the next iPhone, but they are designing experiences that impact people's financial lives in profound ways.
And in a world where consumers have more choices than ever before, a seamless and enjoyable user experience could be the deciding factor between winning a customer's loyalty or losing them to a competitor.
Absolutely. It goes beyond just attracting new customers. It's about building those long-lasting relationships that are built on trust, transparency, and a deep understanding of their needs.
So if even something as seemingly mundane as banking can be revolutionized by design, it really makes you think, what else could we improve with this human-centered design approach?
That's the thing about design thinking. It's not limited to one industry or problem.
The whole new way of thinking.
It's a framework for innovation that you can apply to pretty much anything. Challenges we face as individuals, as companies, as a society even.
And in a world that's getting more complex and tech-driven every day, that human element, that human-centered approach, it's more important than ever.
It's easy to get caught up in the newest tech, the latest gadgets,
Oh, absolutely. It's overwhelming sometimes.
Right. And that's why design thinking is so crucial. It's about cutting through all that noise and getting back to what truly matters, the human experience.
Making tech work for us, not the other way around.
Exactly. How do we create experiences that are not just functional, but also intuitive, enjoyable, dare I say, delightful?
Finding that sweet spot where functionality meets delight, that's the dream.
It is. And it all starts with a shift in mindset. We have to stop thinking of design as just an aesthetic afterthought. It's got to be a core part of the strategy, a driver of innovation, a key ingredient in creating a more human-centered future.
So to our listeners out there, we have a challenge for you. Start paying attention to the design or lack thereof in your own life.
The everyday experiences.
The good, the bad, the downright frustrating.
What makes you cringe? What makes you smile?
Exactly.
Once you start seeing the world through this design lens, you'll be amazed at the impact it has on you every single day.
You might even find yourselves advocating for better design.
Because at the end of the day, design isn't just about making things look pretty.
It's about improving people's lives.
It's about making the world a more user-friendly and enjoyable place, one well-designed experience at a time.
Food for thought. Until next time, happy deep diving, everyone.